Hi, hey, and hello there. Obihan here, and welcome back to the Comic High Ground. All right, we got us another issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. We've been waiting. It felt like this one was a longer wait than the previous ones. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it was literally at the tail end of July. But yeah, this one it took a while, but here we are. Okay, so look, it's issue number. I think it's issue number 6. Yeah. So without further ado, let's do it. So this issue isn't really major in terms of like action. Everything is a little more talking, but it starts out with Peter and Harry Peter's in suit, and he's at Harry's lab, or should I say Tony Stark's lab that Harry has pretty much inhabited or inherited. And Dr. Octavius is pretty much studying their suits to figure out more about them. And Peter is funny because Peter's like eating this sandwich and he's like, who are you again? And Doc Ock goes through this whole thing. I'm Dr. Otto Octavius, yada yada. You know how Doc Ock is. He's pretty much the same in every universe. But he's studying their suits and he basically comes to the conclusion that their suits are basically a Stark suit 1.0 and a Stark suit 2.0. And he goes into the fact that Harry's suit is basically the 1.0. The armored look, sophisticated hardware, top of the line, flawless, yada yada yada. But when he gets to Peter's suit, he's like, now this is something different. This technology is called Picotech, and it's beyond anything that they have seen so far. And he says it's highly adaptable and transformative. So at this point, Doc Ock is really kind of intrigued by Peter's suit, and he even kind of uses this device to take a sample of it so he can study it further. Now this probably is going to lead to the arms or whatever in this universe. I can't say that for sure because this universe has been kind of hard to predict in certain aspects, so we'll see how they handle that. But in any case, one of the other things Doc Ock finds out is that the suits have hidden capabilities that they have not touched on yet. So kind of like with not No Way Home, but Homecoming, if you remember, Peter only had access to like 15% of his suit or whatever it was, and they had to unlock the other capabilities of the suit, which came with an AI, for example. And that's what I'm bringing up right now, because these suits both come with AI. I guess that's like a Stark thing, to add AI to all of his stuff. But he added there's like defense, not defense mechanisms, but there's like a computer system in their suits that like tells them their vitals, and it studies their combat and kind of gives them I guess hints or battle tips and everything for when they're in battle. So the AI obviously is off right now, and Ock has to work on activating them. Now, as he's doing this, he tells them that there's basically you could say there's basically like personalities that they can select for the AI. And Harry actually, no shock, right? No surprise. He chooses Norman Osborn as the AI personality for himself, while Peter says, well, I'm usually talking to myself. So he basically tells Ock to make the AI personality based on his own personality. And I will get back to that in a second, because there's a funny sequence when it comes to Peter's AI. But after they continue to do more research on the suits, we kind of cut to Mary Jane and Gwen, and they have gone to Jameson and Ben's new newspaper office, but they're not there. The door is locked. So we cut to Jameson and Ben and find out that they have met Robbie, and he has given them a tip on some information. And Robbie is just kind of like, look, I want in on what y'all are doing, but for right now, I'm going to be the man on the inside with the bugle to kind of feed y'all some information whenever we come through, because basically, obviously, Kingpin runs the bugle in this universe. He's not like their direct boss per se, but I think I mentioned in one of the earlier videos that he's like a owner or something like that. He has high power, I put it that way. So he's controlling the media. So Robbie wants to kind of feed Jameson and Ben information that the Bugle's definitely not going to let out. So speaking of Kingpin, we then cut to Kingpin, and I can't remember who this guy. I know he was in the first issue, but one of these shady guys that Kingpin was talking to in the first couple issues, he comes back and he's like, I know there's been some trouble, and I know one of our agents is missing, and I've come back to help because I see that there's a problem, basically. And Kingpin, he offers Kingpin like this squad of what looks like bullseye soldiers, but Kingpin's like, no. I mean, I know what I'm dealing with. I can take care of it. And he's like, I have a plan. And then he's like, actually, I have 6 plans, which leads me to believe that this is a cheeky way of saying the Sinister Six is coming. Gonna be interesting to see how they deal with the Sinister Six in this particular universe, because, I mean, for right now, Harry is still an ally, but give it a second, because something else later in this issue is gonna kind of make you raise an eyebrow. So we cut back to Peter and Harry, and they're kind of sparring because they're trying to give their suits some time and a chance to analyze their combat, kind of see how they move around and everything. Peter ends up winning their first bout because you see him punch Harry, and Harry goes down. He's like, okay, I felt that one. So here, Peter's like, well, my bad. Let me help you up. And Otto is like, okay, the AIs are ready, and I'm just letting you know, the only way to cut the AI off is you pretty much got to reset the suit. Just letting you know. So Harry's like, okay, do it. And he activates the AI, and immediately you see a little word bubble, and it's Norman talking, and he's like, all right, son, show me what you're made of. And so pretty much is like telling Harry to get right back into the fray in terms of combat with Peter. And meanwhile, well, let me not forget to mention this part. After Norman says that, Harry says, hey Pete, sorry, but my dad wants me to kick your ass now. And Peter's like, yo, hey, I done told you, don't be using my real name. And then he's like, but good luck with your daddy issues. So Peter's AI comes on, and it's just like, speaking of dads, and then he goes on this whole speech about how he's like, we're a good dad. You know that our kid's birthday is coming up, and you know what, we need to get them something. And I bet Harry's dad never got him a good gift. Let's just go easy on him. So Peter's like, yeah, maybe the AI wasn't the best idea. And Harry's pretty much like, no, we're doing it, hit me. And they go into their combat again, and it looks like Harry got the upper hand, but that was only for like one panel, because Peter kind of rebounds and he pretty much starts kicking Harry's ass. And as he's kicking Harry's ass, this is when Norman pops back up into the AI, and he's like, a fight. First of all, he said a fight isn't won after one good punch. So that one good punch that Harry got, Norman still didn't really congratulate him on that. He's like, you hit him, so what? He's still standing. So again, Peter gets the upper hand, and Norman just goes on all these like insults, saying that they killed me. What do you think they're gonna do to you? And he's like, you're soft. And it's pretty much just taunting Harry the entire time. And he's like, you're weak. I mean, you're embarrassing me, dude. So, quick side note, Norman is an asshole. I guess Norman's just a universal asshole. Wherever you see him, he's gonna be an asshole. In the movies, he's an asshole. Obviously, in the comics, he's an asshole. In cartoons, he's an asshole. You might as well make Norman's name Norman Asshole Osborn, because that's just him. He's an asshole. But even in AI form. But it is cool because it gives you like this idea. It would put you in the mindset of, in the other stories, how in the 90s animated series, Harry could hear Norman speaking to him in his head after he took the Goblin Serum. So in that cartoon, Harry was essentially just crazy, right? He was just crazy. But in this, he's got the AI. So the AI is there to essentially make him crazy, if you will. I think that's what they're going for. I think that the AI is going to continue to push him and insult him and everything to the point that he becomes the more true Green Goblin that we're used to. And I think that's an interesting way of kind of having him go towards that transformation if they're gonna go at it like that. Now I don't know how it's gonna make him crazy per se, because even right here in this fight, he does use like his unibeam and blast Peter back, and the fight's done there. So he asked Norman afterwards. He's like, okay, well, how was that? And he was like, it was acceptable. But again, I bring that up to say that he stopped the fight after that. Like I said, Peter was like, okay, that hurt, and Harry's pretty much like, all right, we good now, we good. So he has control, obviously, but again, it's one of those things where it's like that Norman's voice in his head. How much is it going to control him, or how much is it going to manipulate or influence what he does? Because that's the purpose of it. We know what it's here for. It's here to push him to do things that aren't, that aren't in anyone's best interest but his own, but Norman's own, because in a way Norman is controlling Harry from beyond the grave now. But we'll have to see how the story, unfolds to see how that goes. So after they fight and have their sparring match, Otto is like, well, hey, y'all, there's a third signal on this network. One of the things he had mentioned before was that Peter and Harry's suit were on the same network. Now, up until this point, they thought that theirs were the only ones. But again, he just got this alert that a third signal popped up. So they're like, wait, hold on, what? And they don't even have time to react, because Akka's like, no, the third signal is here. And there's like this big, like, portal that opens up, and you see this comment that says, I told you I'd be back in 6 months. And then you see that Tony Stark has come through the portal, and he basically says, and here I am. What's up? Nah, he didn't say that, but yeah, he's like, here I am. I just have one question for you. Are you a hero yet? And that's where the issue closes out. So yeah, good issue. A lot of talking in this one too, but they had little combat with Peter and Harry sparring. You particularly got to see that Peter is really getting a good handle of his abilities now, because he's moving more like Spider-Man as opposed to a rookie Spider-Man. So that's good to see. One thing I'm still kind of confused about is what all Peter's suit does for him, because I don't know if it's making him stronger when he's not wearing it. I think he has his powers when he doesn't have the suit on. We really hadn't seen him use the abilities outside of when he's in the suit. So that's why I say I'm not quite sure. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. I'm just going to assume that he has his powers regardless on if the suit is on. I know the comic did mention that he had some physical changes, like he was I think a little bit more muscular, and then his appetite was bigger and things like that. But he just hadn't used the powers outside of the suit. So that's just something I'm curious about in terms of how his powers work. But I gotta say, Stark's technology on here is honestly might be more advanced than I've seen Stark's technology be in any other iteration, because the stuff that he's come up with for them, particularly Peter, that's interesting to come up with that technology. That again, if Peter can use his powers outside of the suit, then he essentially, the suit just bestowed his, I guess, biology with the Spider-Man powers. I don't know. And maybe there's a comic that talks more about that. I'm gonna have to do a little research and see. But in any case, Iron Man is here, and he's probably gonna test Peter out to see, either he's gonna test Peter out, or Peter's probably gonna be like, hey, you're that guy who blew up everything, which I kind of doubt, because at this point Peter should know that Tony's not a bad guy, and I think he does know that actually, because that's why he took on the role. But the only reason I bring up something about a fight is because the next issue cover has them fighting. It looks like they're fighting. Now, it could be a misdirect, which is a lot of the time the case with these comic book covers, but I kind of have to bring attention to that. So In my opinion, though, there's no reason for Peter or Harry to fight Tony, because it's because of Tony that they have what they have right now. So it'll be interesting to see how they move forward with this. And I'm liking Mary Jane and Gwen's little dynamic, their partnership, their team. They're like a team now, and I like that, because you don't get to see Mary Jane and Gwen interact too often nowadays. Being the same age and everything, because obviously you got like Spider-Gwen, and I guess Mary Jane sees her sometimes, but you hadn't seen them interact too much like that since probably like that, was it, I think the 80s. It's been a while. And of course you had the cartoons, but I'm just talking about the comics. But that was this issue. It was another good issue. Like I said, Jonathan Hickman has been knocking it out of the park. I don't think there has been a bad issue. There's been a slow issue. Like I said, the one with Harry and the flashback, that was a slower issue. But aside from that, Jonathan Hickman's been knocking it out of the park, man. It's been quite enjoyable reading these books, and I hope it continues. And let me not forget, this video is being uploaded, I believe, on Spider-Man Day, National Spider-Man Day. So happy National Spider-Man Day. I had to make sure I uploaded a Spider-Man video on Spider-Man Day, and a good Spider-Man video at that, because I have one already recorded in the middle of editing video about the Amazing Spider-Man run with Spider-Goblin and everything. But that's not the Spider-Man video to put out on Spider-Man Day. You want a good comic to talk about on Spider-Man Day, so here we are. So yeah, that's that, right? Hit that like button if you like the video. Drop a comment to let me know what you thought of this comic. Did you like it? How do you feel about Stark being so heavy in this story? Him having such a important role in Peter's life as Spider-Man, and Harry's life as a Goblin and all that. What do you think about that? You think it's too much? You think they should have kind of dialed back? You think they should have dialed back on the Tony influence and had it more like an Oscorp thing in terms of Harry and Peter, for that matter? Because again, in some stories, Peter got bitten at Oscorp. So again, just let me know what you think about that. Subscribe for more, please. And remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later.